It is time to welcome our second guest now in a segment we call Mission Possible. Well, as you know, November 11th was Veterans Day. Our next guest takes the phrase, "Thank you for your service," to a whole new level. Kristen Maurer is the co-founder and president of Mission Canine Rescue, an organization dedicated to the rescue and relocation of retired military service dogs. Kristen has been an advocate for the ethical treatment of retired military service dogs for many years, and she took the matter directly to Congress to help veteran dogs find their forever home after their tour of duty is over, sometimes reuniting them with a familiar face, their former military handler. Kristen joins us now from Magnolia, Texas. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, I've so been looking forward to chatting with you. I just believe in what you're doing, and I just off the top want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, it's been an honor. And, I just thank them, the dogs, and the handlers.
It's so great. And you have a dog nearby. Why don't you introduce us to Rose?
Okay, Rosie is a retired military working dog. She's retired Navy. And I picked her up. I flew to Reno last week and picked her up. Come here, Rosie. Let's see if I can get her up here. Come on. Right up here. Come on.
Really?
She's a little elderly thing, so come on.
Oh,
Pick it up. Come on.
see if she'll
You can do
cooperate.
it.
She might be a little
Let's see if we can
camera
get her up
shy
here.
right now. There we go.
She's just a little chocolate lab. I don't know if you can see her. She's just a
She's
love.
precious.
She's going to be reunited with her handler in South Carolina tonight. So yeah, so we're very excited for her to see if I can. We're
Oh, she's precious.
super
Kristen, is
excited
it
for
hard?
Rosie.
Is it hard letting them go sometimes? I know you love fiercely, and I imagine you get attached to some of them.
This one is because she came. A lot of them will just go stay at our facility, just around the corner. But she came to my home, and so I have kind of fallen madly in love with her a little bit. But
Well, I'm falling in love with her as I look at her, and I just love the bond you share, and I love how you give your whole heart to each dog. It's just the sweetest thing. Where did your love for dogs start? When did your love for animals begin?
pretty much birth, I think.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's my other dog that's really a little jealous.
There we go.
Yes. I've loved animals my entire life. When I was a little kid, 3 years old, I was toddling down the street. It was a different time back then, in the late 60s. So, and my mom said I picked up a kitten and brought it home, and she had to return it to its rightful owner. So apparently I stole someone's kitten at 3. So, but it's just been always, I just love all animals. Here at my house, we have horses and deer and dogs, and yeah, so we love any animal. So, but these working dogs are a little special. They give their life for us. So for us, this is a big deal.
It truly is. Your work with Mission Canine Rescue, honestly, it's nothing short of amazing. And I know that you've really, really made a difference in the lives of a lot of retired military service animals. You started your your professional career as a school teacher. So I'm curious, Kristen, what made you decide to go from education to working with military service dogs and advocacy and advocating for them?
I think out of college, I was just trying to find my way. And so I tried a few things, to be honest. And then I was teaching school, but volunteering at a local animal shelter here called Citizens for Animal Protection. And they had a program where they invited this group in who had started a program called Gifted Animal Placement. And what that was is you go into shelters, and there's a lot of dogs that have a lot of high energy, ball drive, those kinds of things. Not great pets, but amazing working dogs. And so it was a way to go find these dogs in the shelters and save them. So I got trained by the guys that came in to do that program. And I told them at that time I wanted to learn what they were doing, because they had a narcotics dog that they were using. And I said, I want to do that. And they said, let's get you a dog. We can do that. And I trained with them, and in Dallas, and officers all over the state of Texas. I trained after we got me a dog out of our shelter. It ended up that my dog ended up out of our shelter, and I trained her in narcotics. She alerted on marijuana and crystal meth the first day training. She was she was a special dog. So yeah, and she was just a lot of fun to have. And so that's kind of how I got started. I trained with them, certified with them, and decided to start a business. And had a private investigation company, and I used her, like if there was somebody who thought their kids were on drugs or businesses that needed searching, Roxy and I'd go do that. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean, Roxy sounds like an exceptional canine. I mean,
she was amazing.
Her trainability, her intellect, and what an incredible animal. I mean, I know you obviously developed a really strong connection with her, but did she develop some health issues, or give us that story? Or you did,
yes,
and then she helped you, right?
Yes.
Walk us through that story.
I developed some health issues. I have a rare muscle disorder called neuromyotonia, and my body freezes up, kind of seizes in a way, and I turn to stone, but I'm awake through the whole process. And it's very painful. It can last 6 and 7 hours. And I started noticing, I was on a trip to Los Angeles with her, and I started noticing that I was really tired, and I didn't really know what was happening, but she started alerting on me and going bananas. I was about to get on the 405 just out of LAX, and she started going crazy. She jumps in the front seat, lays in my lap, and looks up at me. I pull over because I think she has to go to the bathroom. I didn't know what was going on. Parked the car. The second I did, I went into one of my episodes. And from that day forward, she was able to alert me on my episodes. And it was the most amazing thing, because I didn't teach her any of that. I mean, I taught her drugs. So
and her only way to communicate was just to bark, get in your lap, and get your attention.
Yes.
And really, she saved your life.
Yes. She's a super calm, laid back white German Shepherd. But the second her whole personality and demeanor would change, just getting my attention is what she would do. So it gave me about 7 minutes to get my medication so that I would not go into one of the episodes.
Wow,
so,
that is truly incredible. And she was so in tune with you, but also saw serving you as her duty, which is so sweet. It's like literally making me misty-eyed right now. I love, again, the heart of what you're doing, and, reuniting these dogs with their handlers, and your heart for giving them a better life. How common is this? How many service dogs are actually employed by the military? Share some of your knowledge and wisdom with us.
I don't know the exact numbers out there, because you think about military working dogs, there's also contract working dogs. And contract working dogs do the same job as the military working dog, but only for a private contractor. So they're owned by a private contractor. So you have those, and you have police, canines, and customs and border patrol, and there's thousands of dogs out there. But as far as military working dogs themselves, I know there's several thousand working today. I don't know the exact number, but there are a lot of them out there.
Right. And that's enough for us, right? To know, hey, this is a noble cause, and I love that you're doing something about it. You were actually quoted once as saying that you don't train the dogs, you untrain them, which is fascinating to me. Can you just talk to us about what you know about how military service dogs are trained, and then the process of actually, I guess, untraining them, as you said, to just help them integrate back into society?
Yeah, military dogs are trained in detection. Some are trained in bite work, but the main thing is that they're treated like a working asset. So they live in a kennel their entire life. They don't have any special beds or anything special for them, other than they get out and they go to work, which they do love their job. I will give them that. And but they work for a toy. They're not looking for bombs or drugs. They're looking for their toy or their reward, and they get their reward for just a few minutes, and then it's back to to work again, or they go back in the kennel. And so our job is to kind of undo all of that. We're here to turn them into pets. So they were vets when they came to us, and now we want to turn them into pets so they can go into a home, and we want them to relax and not feel the working environment. We originally had kennels at our facility, 5x10 runs for each dog, but we would see how stressed they would be in those kennels. And so we wanted to change all of that. So we have at our place 30x30 yards for each dog outside. And then when they come in at night, we put them in a crate at night to go to sleep, just like you would in a home environment. So we're trying to just set them up for success in a home and get them to decompress and kind of take that high energy, high drive. That's the other part of it. They have this toy drive that's insane because they're constantly, it's kind of like a drug. Here, you can have it for a minute, but we're going to take it back. Going to have it for a minute, but you can take it back. Mm-hmm. So what we do, the second they get there, we throw them 5 or 6 of them. Here you go. These are yours. And so they don't have to fight for that anymore. So it becomes less stressful for them. So that's part of what we do. The other part is the medical care. You know, these dogs train like athletes their entire life, and they come to us with a lot of health issues. And so that being said, we do what we can to get them medically treated and get them healthy so that they can go into a home.
And you've done this so many times over and over again successfully. I mean, you've reunited, about 650 dogs with their former handlers over the past decade, which...
We just did our stats because this is our 10-year anniversary. Our 10-year anniversary was 3 days ago. So we just did all of our stats, and we have reunited 654 canine handler teams. We have rescued 642 dogs from all over the world, working dogs from all over the world, brought them into our care, rehabbed them, and found them homes. We've paid out $1,952,664 in veterinary care, and we run at 93% towards our mission. So we're real proud of our numbers. Thanks.
I just want to say, woo, you go, girl. And I mean, I know you have a team of people doing this. So just, again, our applause and our praise. That is amazing. When you were compiling those numbers, were you surprised?
Very surprised. My business partner, which I want to definitely say I didn't do this alone. I have 2 business partners, Bob Bryant and Louisa Kastner. And Louisa was a vet tech in the Army, and she was rescuing dogs in the Army before this started. And she and I kind of got together and started doing it together. And then Bob came in and started the fundraising. So it's definitely a 3. We started it as a 3-man team, and she was compiling some of the numbers, and I was, and we almost started crying. It was just like, wow, okay, this is a lot. And so we're real proud of the numbers that we've done. So
that's for great. Sure. I mean, I know that you have kind of a hardworking spirit about you, but I think these numbers reflect your team and your dedication, right, to the cause. And I'm sure there have been a lot of long days and perhaps some sleepless nights, but
definitely.
Wow, keep up the good work. This is just incredible.
We also have an amazing team at our facility now. It's not just us anymore. You know, we have employees at the facility that take such great care of the dogs that are in our care. And they see to it. We have a vet tech on staff, and the manager of our facility and all of our employees are just a blessing. We couldn't do any of this without them. There's no way.
There you go.
So,
I'm curious, Kristen, I'm just thinking about kind of the ins and outs and how everything works. Educate us on how the military actually decides when it's a dog's time to retire. What goes into that decision?
Theirs is different. I think it's either sometimes they age, depending on their age, but mainly it's health or workability. If they've decided to quit their job and not do their job anymore, they'll retire them. Or if they have some kind of health issue, they'll retire them. And so those dogs, and that's really across the board. That's with any kind of agency. It's mainly health or workability is why they retire them. So we do get a lot of dogs with a lot of health issues because of that. So
now we know that, those who serve in the military can sometimes come back from a tour of duty and experience PTSD, You mentioned anxiety in dogs, but do you ever see those kinds of behaviors in the dogs when you're rehabilitating them and trying to get them ready to assimilate back into a more normal routine?
Absolutely. We've seen it time and time again. There was one specific dog. His name was Robbie. In fact, that's him right there. He was a retired explosive detection dog, or mine detection dog, out of Afghanistan. He was part of a State Department program where they train these dogs here in the United States, and they donate them around the world as a goodwill effort to find mines. And Robbie was donated to a handler in Afghanistan, and the handler loved Robbie, but some others did not, and they dealt with the handler in a certain way, and Robbie was stuck in a kennel and not treated very well. He was beaten and starved, and by the time he came, there was a rescuer in Afghanistan at the time that when the State Department went in, she took him in, had to get him up to 53 pounds, or no, I'm lying to you, 39 pounds, up to 39 pounds just to ship him to us. And she was concerned about his safety over there. So she went ahead and shipped him at that weight. And he was so frail at that time. I took him home, and we slowly fed him and integrated him in, but he always had, if there was explosions or rain, he would lose his mind, just terrified. And so he really did. So we saw remnants of PTSD in quite a few of the dogs. Not as many anymore as we did at one time.
But for you to have that compassion and also that training and experience to know how to handle Robbie's discomfort, after all that he had been through. Wow, that's just incredible.
The most incredible part about him is after all he suffered, he ended up being the most loving, affectionate dog. He loved people. And, it just shows you the resilience of dogs. He had his spine, because of all of his injuries, was fused from his neck to his tail. He couldn't wag his tail up. It would only wag down because he couldn't, the way his spine was. He had neurological disorder and grand mal seizures and all these things and all because of what had happened to him. And when we did the body scan, he had fractures all over heel fractures all over his body. And with all of that, still the most loving, sweet, happy dog on the planet. So yeah, it just shows you how dogs are,
Yes, and how far a little love can go. Actually, in your case, a lot of love and a lot of patience. But that's a beautiful story. So
yeah,
thank you so much.
He was special, really. So
there may be some dog moms watching who are inspired by your story about Robbie or any hero, retired dog. What is the process like? Could they perhaps start searching to adopt one of these animals? Is that an option?
Absolutely. We have an adoption program, and you can go to our website at missioncaninerescue.org and fill out the application. And then once the application's filled out, it's a pretty extensive application on purpose, because these dogs are special and they require special care. And our motto is that it's not what the dog can do for you, but what can you do for the dog at this point? They've already done their stuff for us, the way we see it.
Absolutely.
And so, so once you fill out the application, then we have an adoption coordinator, adoption team that will call and talk to you about your different needs and specificities, because what we want to do is match your lifestyle with the lifestyle of the dog we have. So let's say you're somebody who just wants to sit on the sofa and watch TV. You're not one to go be super active. Then we don't want to give you an active Malinois that wants to go running around. We want to make sure that the right dog fits in your home, and vice versa. If there's somebody that hikes and goes everywhere, we don't want to give them one of the older, just settled ones that just wants a sofa to relax on,
That's
So,
right.
so we are real careful about how we match up our dogs. And so once you've gone through the adoption coordinator, then it goes to the manager of our facility, and he kind of picks 4 or 5 dogs that match your criteria and your lifestyle. And then you pick from those. So
Right, because you want it to be a good fit.
Yes.
And you want it to be a happy new beginning that lasts in, or results in a lifetime, together.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Our job is we don't want them coming back. We want them
No.
happy. Although we'll take them back, we want them to be happy in a home.
That's right. That's right, Kristen. Now, I know that you have been an advocate for the ethical treatment of retired service dogs, that you've gone to Congress to get measures changed. Tell me about your efforts and what you see as the greatest needs right now.
Things are looking up. But our first effort was 10 years ago, or started 10 years ago when we first started this. Military dogs, as they were retiring, a handler could adopt the dog. But if the military dog was retiring in its duty station overseas, say Germany, Guam, Japan, it was up to the handler to pay to bring the dog back instead of the other way around. Well, these guys, they don't have a lot of money there, and to spend that kind of money was pretty costly. So that's kind of where we started, and we started bringing the dogs back for them and transporting them all over the nation for them. But then we were like, well, shouldn't the military pay to bring the dog back? I mean, they shipped the dog over there.
Sure.
That doesn't seem to be a problem. So why can't they bring the dog back? And so we started working with different congressmen and senators. Spoke in front of Congress, I think in 2014. Yes, 2014 or 15. And then we progressively, we got laws passed, and then there would be a loophole in the law. And so it would get passed again, bipartisan every single time. It would get passed again to where the military should pay for these dogs to come back stateside. And finally in 2022, it passed. The rules of the military changed. That was the big problem, is military's going, yeah, I understand your law, but our rules state this. And so to get those changed can be a challenge. And in 2022, they changed. And so now it's up to the different branches to bring the dog back stateside. And then, like I've told them, look, if you just bring the dog to the Carolinas, I'll get it to California if I have to, but if you'll just get it home. So that has been a big benefit for us. So that's really a helpful thing. I think just given that and coming up with a mandatory age for retirement would be a big deal. That would be something I think would be amazing, because I think a lot of them retire way too old, in my opinion. So it would be really nice to start that kind of advocacy that, look, I get that they cost a lot of money to train, but they also deserve to have some kind of life after
their quality of life.
Right.
Yes.
So,
as a thank you, and to allow them to finish well, right, with a lot of love. I imagine a lot of dog moms are going to want to get involved with what you're doing, Kristen. So how can they best keep informed of what you have going on?
You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. But you can check out our website. We do have some kind of volunteering opportunities, not a lot around the nation just because the dogs are all here, but we do have different things that we can do that we certainly appreciate everybody calling and getting involved any way that they can, even if it's writing a letter or that we need sometimes, or just helping us do other clerical things. We certainly could use all the help we can get.
That's awesome. And we want to come alongside you and help you out, Kristen. Kristen Maurer, president and co-founder of Mission Canine Rescue. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.